I'm a strategist, I'm a father, I'm one passionate mofo. So I've had the leaders of countries, presidents of the United States, presidents of the largest companies in the world, billionaire entrepreneurs. And I've had moms and dads and entertainers, Serena Williams in the sports field, Hugh Jackman, Pitbull, Usher, you name it. So the one thing they all have in common, I think, is they're hungry. And I know that sounds simplistic, but I believe that's the single most important element that separates the quality of people's lives. It's not just the ability to have hunger, but to sustain it. Hunger means that you want more. You want more of yourself. You want to make a bigger difference. You want to be a better parent. You want to do something more than there is today, and that you don't get satisfied. Most people start out with hunger at an early stage of life, and they lose it. But the people that come to me are hungry either because something's happened, they've had a birthday with a zero on it, they've gone through a divorce, they're starting a business and they know I've got to have a different level, or they're the best in the world and they're always looking for that edge that makes the difference.
What keeps you hungry?
I am hungry. I think what it is I think everybody is born with hunger. Like there's a desire to grow, to expand, to learn, and then disappointment sets in early in life for most people. And then we look to blame something outside of ourselves. And there are many events in our lives that can affect us all. We've all had pain and challenges. But I think if you can find within yourself the part of you that wants to constantly give something more than yourself, if you can find a mission larger than yourself, then you're more pulled to do something than trying to push yourself. And pull has much more power than push. I always say motive does matter. That if your motive is to serve something greater, there is an energy that comes up inside of you. So I feed 2 million people a year because somebody fed my family when I was 11 years old, and now this year we're feeding 4 million. I want to do more in that area. And every business I'm in, that drive just doesn't go away. Well, it's interesting, since 2008, you've seen most large enterprise companies have really figured out how to respond to the world economic crisis at that time by cutting, right? They figured out how to cut their costs, they grew their bottom lines, and they built up their cash. And so they've done very well. But that was 5 years ago, and it's getting hard to keep cutting. You can't cut your way to growth at this point. So most major corporations are now saying, what do we do about the top line? How do we really grow revenues and sales? And so I built something called Coaching in the Cloud, which we've done for some of the most successful companies in the world. And what it does is it comes in and it revamps the sales process. You think about it, in the 1990s, you had all these companies that were re-engineering, and they said, look, we're going to go virtual and save the real estate. And all these salespeople are going to just virtualize. There weren't great tools then. There are now, Salesforce.com being one of those, right? But the challenge is they've lost some of the disciplines that maximize the process. So we also, though, are showing people how to maximize technology. So I have a patent pending process in a company that's working with everybody from General Electric to Reuters. It's called Knowledge Now. And it allows you to take the knowledge you need, instead of learning the old style. We got great technology and an old way of learning. You get to learn in the application, like Salesforce.com. While you're there, you're able to get the answers you need when you're working on clients right now. Not go to some class where you're going to forget 90% of it, but do it right now. We found it to be really, really impactful. Well, I believe in rapid change. Technology allows you to create change really rapidly. And I think, social media I've found to be a really useful research tool, because we're living in a world where so much information is coming at us all the time that I always say, it's like we're drowning in information, but we're starving for some wisdom. And if you follow people that are really brilliant, it's almost like having an intelligent browser where they can bring you to the very best stuff right away. One of the companies I have came about because I'm always following these people. I was following some 3D printing, and I found out about this young man that when he was 14, he met a girl who had lost her arm, and found out they didn't have the money for an articulated arm. They're about $80,000. If you lose both arms, over a lifetime you have to get 3 for each arm. You can only imagine, it's out beyond the range of most people. And at 17, he created an artificial arm that does more than the traditional arm, articulates, but it can actually, lift 350 pounds. And it was all driven, but instead of $80,000, he does it with 3D printing, and it costs $250. And I saw the site. He was meeting with President Obama. NASA gave him a scholarship. I reached out to him, and now we formed a company together we're building some exoskeletons for people who hopefully will be able to walk, taking those arms and being able to take it to places like Africa, all over the world. With now, at this price point, people's lives can change. My companies now together, the companies that I started and the companies I'm partners in, do more than $5 billion in annual sales. If I could have ever dreamed that I'd have that kind of impact, it would seem ridiculous. But it's all come out of this hunger to constantly make things better and to find a way to do more for other people than anybody else is doing. And I found if you find a way to do better for everybody else, then obviously you have plenty of freedoms in your own life as well.
The
dumb stuff that everyone's doing and stop doing the dumb stuff. That most of these extremely successful, brilliant people have just cut out a lot of the really dumb stuff.
They have. Well, they have, and they've done one more thing, though, that's really important. It's the most important investment decision. Imagine you got in the game, you're investing something, it doesn't matter what it is. Maybe you're investing for the future, you're setting some money aside. You know what not to do. You know what you're after, and you got a plan. You made the game winnable. It's not some giant number. A kid will tell me, I need $1 billion, and I break down actually to charter the planes he wants to go on 10 trips a year, to rent the Branson's Island instead of buying the island. He can do the whole thing for less than $20 million for the rest of his life and never work again, right? Yeah. 20 million versus $1 billion is two different universes, they're different places. But the next piece is step 4 is really critical. It's the most important one of all. It's the most important investment decision you're going to make. And that decision is called asset allocation. Or it's like the ultimate bucket list. It's the money you put, what proportions you put, the strategy you use. I'm going to put so much in stock, so much in bonds, so much in whatever the case may be, different assets. That's what you live and die by. In fact, David Swensen, who's the most successful institutional investor of all time from Yale, $1 billion to $24 billion in growth in 2 decades. Mind-boggling. Worth paying attention to. He said to me directly, he said, Tony, all your returns come from asset allocation. More important than buying Apple, more important than buying any stock. You're going to be wrong on some stock. You're going to be wrong on some bond. You're going to be wrong on some real estate investment. It's having the right breakup. And the guys that are the best in the world have figured out the right balance, like Ray Dalio, like David Swensen. And so what I have in the book is their exact proportions of what they do, recommended that you wouldn't be able to do. It's like I sat down, I want to sing with David, he let me come in, I'm sitting here in Yale's kind of hallowed halls, and I'm like, do you know what I do? And he said, do you think you'd be sitting here in Yale having a conversation with me? He said, your work changed my life, my family's life, this person's life, and so those things opened the doors, and they shared this with me. So the right asset allocation, think of it this way. Most of us make the wrong decision when we're driving our car and we're in the slow lane and we move, or you're in the grocery store and you go, that looks like the faster lane. What do you think your chances of making the wrong decision financially are? You're going to make the wrong decision.
Exponentially higher than...
You're going to. Yeah. So if your success depends on you making the right decision, you're done. And that's where most people are. When you know how to divide up your assets, right, they call it the only free lunch. When you can divide them up across different assets, different types of investments, over different timelines, even over different countries, it allows you to know when the losses happen, you're not wiped out. We all know, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Most basic idea of asset allocation, but most people don't know what to do. Sounds so complex. I teach you in these 3 buckets. There's a security bucket where you put stuff in that is really protected. It's not going to drop. It's not going to grow big, but it's not going to drop. There's a bucket for growth that has some more risk, and there's a bucket for dreams where you do the fun stuff right now, not 30 years in the future, so you make money and, in the end of your life, you have something. And I show people how to figure out based on how comfortable are you with risk, how old are you, how much time do you have to accumulate, what's your source of income. When we look at those 3 things, we do it online with a little test, and then you can immediately go online and say, okay, here's a set of asset allocations that have been put together by people like Ray Dalio. I can compare it to whatever I have right now, and I can see what the returns have been over the last 10 years. Right there in 2 seconds.
That's invaluable.
It's mind-boggling. It's a dream. And I've only been able to do it because I've been working with the best people in the world, and they got excited about the mission. I mean, they got excited about seeing what could be possible in this area. And some of them, my background of not having food at times at Thanksgiving, and I shared with you that, I've been feeding people. I started with 2 families and then 4. I started when I was 17. Now this year will be 55 million. I've gotten these guys to join me in that task. So Ray Dalio donated 1 million meals. Mark Burnett, or Benioff, I should say, from Salesforce.com donated 1 million meals. So along the way, these guys not only shared their insights, but they're playing a role to help people whose society's forgotten, while we're also helping people through the book, which I'm really, really grateful for.
So once you know what to do with the money.
Yes.
Asset allocation, to use grown-up terminology, right?
Just buckets. A certain amount of money I'm going to put where it's secure. It's going to grow slowly. A certain amount I'm going to put where it's less secure. I got more risk, but I got more potential reward. A certain amount I'm going to enjoy today. How do I know that percentage? You pick that percentage and then you forget about it. Whatever you're going to invest, 20% goes here, 30% there, 40% goes there. You divide it up. That's all it really is.
And you just set it up to happen.
Automatically.
So you're not having to think about it all.
Correct. Or you model somebody else, right?
That's even better.
Yeah.
Set it up automatically based on their model.
Yes, of what they've already proven. There. Yes.
What's the next step?
Next step is you've got to create an income for life. And then when I say income for life, it's so interesting because I ask people all the time, why do you invest? What are you investing for? What would your response be?
So I'll have money when I'm old.
Right?
Yeah.
So some people say, so I have money when old. Some people say, so I can grow my assets. Some people say, so they tell me all kinds of things. There's only one reason to invest: income. You can have all these companies, but eventually you have to convert that to income to be able to live a great life. The final purpose of all investing is income. And most of us don't know that anymore because all of the marketing machines of the large banks, if you were taking income, it's no longer in their account.
So it's bad.
So it takes it away from them. So one of the things that I looked at was, I started looking around, and most people know the power of life insurance, right? Don't like it, but I want to make sure if something happens to me, my family's taken care of. But what if you live? And here's what's crazy. The number one fear amongst baby boomers is not death. Death is a far number two, way down the list, number two percentage-wise. Number one is running out of money before they die, having a life where they don't have income. And it's going to happen, according to all the statistics, to about 75% of the population, right? It's mind-boggling. So what do I do without any income? That's why you see people now in their 70s as greeters at Walmart. You know, it's just they got to figure out what to do because they never figured this stuff out in the beginning. So there is income insurance. Income insurance is old. It's a 2,000-year-old approach to making sure you have money. Julius Caesar was the first one who created it. And here's what it was. They created a pool of money where the soldier's going to go out. And everybody put their money in, and it was held by the government. And whoever came back, they split up that pool of money over time with annual payments. So the word annuity that we all have heard, the word annuity is annual payments. Now you get annuities that pay you every month, but that process that's out there is one of the most successful opportunities for people to create an income. In other words, there's a stage in my life where you build, like you are. You're grow, and you're growing up the mountain. You're saving, you're investing, and you're building it to a giant critical mass, to a jackpot. When you get to the top of the mountain, there's going to be a stage where you're not going to want to work. You probably will. Guys like you and I will always work. You don't have to work. And therefore, you tend to work harder.
I couldn't imagine not doing it.
It's just like I couldn't either.
Yeah.
Steve Wynn's a dear friend of mine. He's 72 years old. He works harder now than any time I've known him. Just crazy. T. Boone Pickens is a friend of mine. He's 86. When he was 68, he retired. He's a billionaire. He's made more money after coming out of retirement in the last 15 years than he did in the first 68 years, and he's having the time of his life, right? But you want to know you don't have to work. So when you get to that peak where you have enough money, now you want to be able to ski down the mountain, enjoy your time with your family, do whatever you want to do, give your time, your energy, your capital, do whatever you want to do. That phase you need income for. And most people aren't planning for income. So you could be in a position where you built your assets up, your stock investments, your bonds, your real estate, and how fast can that drop by 50%, by 30%? We've seen it in every market.
About a nanosecond or
Ray Dalio,
a day? Yeah.
Ray Dalio says point blank, he said, whatever you invest in, most people invest in something they feel is their favorite. They think they know something about it. So he said, you're a real estate guy, you put all your money in real estate. And then you put all your money in stocks, or you put it into commodities or whatever. He said, whatever investment you invest in, he said, mark my words, in your lifetime, there will be a day that category will go down 50 to 70%. He said, so the only way you protect against that is asset allocation, spreading out against many different baskets, not one. And the other way is you create an insurance policy that says, I'm guaranteed a certain income for life. So what you do is you take a percentage of your earning and you put it in an environment where it grows. And the only problem with that is, I heard annuities, and I was like, annuity maybe is the most negative word. It's like,
I know you think about some sleazy insurance sales.
Yeah, exactly right. So you associate to it.
Yeah.
But here's what an annuity is. Bernanke, as the head of the Fed, his top two investments were both annuities. Because I used to read these ads that say, they still market them. It says, what does it say? It says, I hate annuities and you should too. Yeah. And of course you go to it and it's a guy that's selling you stocks, right? And he says, annuities, they have all these fees, and he's right. There's tons of horrible annuities, just like there's tons of negative mutual funds. There's tons of people who got fees everywhere. They take it every year. And the annuity side, there's a commission paid to a guy. He gets paid once. So I want to be really clear. Annuities aren't a great product. Like mutual funds aren't a great product. The right annuity, the right investment is the right one. And that means you've got to be able to strip out all the crazy fees. You got to know what you're getting. For most people, that's complex. I'll give you a perfect example. A variable annuity, very popular annuity, is filled with fees. It's fees on top of fees. It's fees to be inside of the annuity, and then there's fees for a mutual fund on top of it. It's a disaster. But there are types of annuities, like, done properly, like these hybrid annuities, they call them, where it's tied to an index, meaning a stock market index. So here's how it works. You get the upside without the downside. If the stock market goes up, you get a percentage of that growth. If it goes down, you lose nothing. So like you think about my friend who's been out of the stock market for 6 years and he's got nothing to show for it. I said to him, this would have been one of many different vehicles you could have easily done. And what's beautiful about these types of annuities, when it's the right company, you want a company that's got the right rating. You want a company, these insurance companies, the good ones have been around 100 years, 200 years. They've been around since recessions, depressions, the 2008, and nothing's hit them. They're that strong. They've been around. That's all they do. And I said, so with these types of them, there's some that are available. Most of them are available only for people in their 50s and above. So it's thought of as, something for grandpa. I sat down when I started seeing how these work. There's one annuity I saw, and I'm getting old enough that I'm within the range of doing these things now, which scares me. But one of them gives a guaranteed return of 7% a year. And where are you going to find that? And
my immediate reaction is
my immediate reaction, that's impossible.
It's like,
It's a company that's, A-rated, it's been around forever. But here's how they do it. You pay into the company, in this particular one, your rate grows at 7% a year, and then you have this lump sum. You don't take out the lump sum. That's how you get the 7% per year. What you do is you take out 5% of it a year, and so they show you what that means to you in income. Because what you really want is income. Mm-hmm. If you're in the stock market and it drops 50%, your income is just cut in half, and then to grow it back can take decades. So there's some that are tied to the stock market. There's some where annuities that are available today, brand new ones, where I saw this one, it blew my mind, where you take the upside of the stock market and they take what's called a spread. So they'll take 1.5% off the top. So if the market goes 10%, you got 8.5%. If it goes 20, you got 18.5%, right? Mm-hmm. And if it loses money, you lose nothing, and there are no fees if it doesn't make money.
That's a much more attractive proposition.
It's mind-boggling. And then they have a second piece which says, if you leave your money with us and you don't take it out, if you leave it with us, then you can convert that to income in the future. And we can show you how much that would be worth in the future at different stages. So you're able to have something to plan with. So I'm talking about a subject that's really complex. I'm realizing I'm trying to explain this in a few minutes. And I haven't tried to do it verbally. I do it in the book really step by step. But take it this way. If you knew today that you could put a certain amount of money aside, and instead of wondering how the stock market was going to go, you knew that meant for you $5,000 a month, $10,000 a month, $20,000 a month, whatever it is, for as long as you live, and that even if all the money you put in, you'd outstrip, you'd still be receiving the money. That's what you get in these types of income insurance plans. And the way they do it is, some people live very long. Today, people Social Security was developed, 1920s, 1930s, right, under Roosevelt. 65 years old is when you're supposed to get it. Well, the average lifespan was 62 then. Yeah. So it was for the outliers that were being taken care of. And it was to make sure in your older years, 3 or 4 or 5 years of retirement, you'd have some money to be able to live your life, be with your family. Well, today, people living, 85 years. So at 65, they've got 20 years of retirement and they have no plan. And that's the average person, right? If you're married, one of the two people in your marriage, there's an 80% chance they'll live to 92 years old. So we're living longer and longer, and technology is just being started to really be brought to it. And yet we work for 30 or 40 years, and then we're supposed to have enough money for 30 years or 20 years. Most people don't have it. So these types of programs that I explain in here step by step, these programs can give you the income for life so you don't have to ever run out of money. When I was with a gentleman by the name of Jack Bogle who started Vanguard, and Vanguard is, the largest mutual fund in the world, but it's an index fund. So they charge very, very small fees, 20 basis points. That means 0.20 when you use basis points, by the way. There's a lot of jargon in this industry. I said to him, I know you believe in investing in the market. I said, but there's a dirty little secret. And the little secret is called sequence of returns. That if you work and you build your whole life up to get this nest egg, and now it's large enough that you can invest in a secure environment and have income coming back to you. It's like your money machine. You don't have to work. But then the market takes a hit. Then it can make a huge difference in where your income is. I said, versus if you have a contract with an insurance company that guarantees you that income, and the company's been around 100 and whatever years, or you diversify amongst multiple insurance companies. I said, those have been proven over hundreds of years to be successful. He said, that's true. I said, the whole dirty secret is, if I'm investing well in the first 3 or 4 years of my retirement, the stock market's up, I might have millions of dollars over the course of my life. If in those first few years it's a 2000 or a 2008 and the market drops 50%, I can show you statistically, you never get back to where you need to be based on your age. Mm-hmm. So having a balance of assets and having some of these, insurance policies where I know what my income is going to be is the fifth step. It's really making sure that you put the balance in. And at a different stage of life, you're going to be focusing on this more. I actually went to Guggenheim, one of the largest financial organizations in the world. I said, I'm wealthy enough at this stage of my life, I'm fortunate enough, and I'm old enough that I can go get these policies. I said, why wouldn't you do this for somebody that's 25?